Okay, I had the freaking Stardew all over. Okay. Well, I got all this set up over here, but I guess I gotta have the intro. Okay. Well, smoke means danger. That's an idea right there within itself. So if there's smoke around, it means danger. If a character's smoking, or like if they, like if Frasier and the crew catches like they swear they saw smoke coming off of somebody's head, that means danger. And that all that is an idea. That's just an idea that um, helps with storytelling. It's a visual aid of sorts. I think I'm a cool guy because I'm wearing glasses. Because I noticed I wasn't really staring at the camera too much. So this is better. I kind of like space out when I'm talking. It feels weird to look directly into the camera. And now I'm a douche with my glasses on my head. Or I could be a douche for just wearing glasses. So when I was growing up, I tended to like things that were mysterious because it draws you in. Humans want to know the truth. They want to know if you baked a cake and there was a piece of that cake missing, we want to know where that piece of cake went. You know, we'll ask around, and we just want to know. So it's like that's how I get ideas, like the cake idea. Like you bake a cake, and it's storytelling. This lady bakes a cake. She puts it in the fridge. The next morning she wakes up, and there's a piece of that cake missing, and she lives alone. So that causes anxiety, you know. And as a person that hears such a story, they're going to question it. She lived alone. Immediately, your mind is a detective trying to figure out where that piece of cake went. A story that can go with it. Maybe she slept walking ate it. Maybe a burglar came in. Anything. It's so ambiguous and vague, and it could just you could leave it at that. You could leave it at that. That you'll never find out who ate the piece of cake or whatever. And it's just establishing like ambiguity, ambiguity. I don't know how to say the word. Establishing mystery and a tone. You know, so you put that in the beginning of a story, and you never come back to it, right? And other mysterious stuff happens. The missing piece of the cake could be a missing thing in her life that she doesn't know like what's missing. She knows the piece of cake is missing, but the piece of cake missing could symbolize something she's missing in her life. And that creates another mystery. You know, it's like a psychological mystery at that point. And stories like that I've always been drawn to. Like Kingdom Hearts, they have like a nonsensical story, but through the right lens of the gamer while playing the game, it makes sense. That's why Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 made sense because they came out so close to each other. But by the time you miss all the middle ones, I actually played a lot of the middle ones, but you miss all the middle ones and then you play part 3 and you're like, what's happening? Because you haven't been playing the game to that, or you have, but it's been giant gaps to that build up. And the way to read the story is lost on you because maybe you forgot how the stories were. You know, in Kingdom Hearts 1, they start on an island, Destiny Island. It's called Destiny Island because these island dwellers are fated to go on this adventure. How do we know it's an adventure? Because we're playing a video game. You know, Sora's having strange dreams. You know, the dreams of the beginning intro is a dream. He's falling in the sky. You know, Riku's uh, mysteriously like grabbing towards him, but he looks like he's his friend. Sora reaches out for him because that's his friend, but the waves they swallow Riku up, you know, and Sora also falls into the water, aka the darkness, and until he finds light at the bottom that blossoms open, and it's him. It's a stained glass picture of him, and stained glass is it's like a church purity, you know. So it's like Sora is the key, you know, the key blade, but he's the purity to the darkness, you know. And from that point on, you take control of Sora, who is going through the dream um, to solve this, like to fight the darkness. And that person that you fight at the end, that giant darkness, is revealed later to be a heartless gifted to Riku. So he feels this darkness growing in his friend right before they're about to set off on a journey, that they share the same goal of getting off Destiny Island. You know, they want to travel to distant worlds, but Sora comes from a place of purity. He wants to do this with his friends. He wants to do it with him and Kairi and Riku. But Riku does it from a place of darkness. He's not necessarily bad, but he doesn't want to be on Destiny Island anymore. Not for adventure, but because he hates it there. You know, he wants more. It seems like he's the oldest out of the kids. I mean, Waka, let me say the most mature. He's not scared of distant lands. You know, and Sora's an optimist. He's not scared of distant lands for other reasons. And Kairi knows. Kairi's the glue. Um, I think Sora and Riku would continue to be friends without Kairi, but Kairi does balance them. And you got the three, you got the trio right there. Um, so Kingdom Hearts I've always been drawn to it because of its storytelling, and Final Fantasy as well. Like some Final Fantasy stories do lose me at a point, but I think Final Fantasy X has a beautiful story. And the Final Fantasy that lost me was Final Fantasy 12 because I just couldn't follow it at a point. It was way too political. Me and Josh were playing through it in Japanese, and it was just a lot. So, okay, now let me explain. Um, now that you know like how I think of ideas and how in mediums that I like praise their ideas. Um, let's get into starting realities. Um, I my ideas for it, and I know they're really out there, and I'm gonna need both of you guys to focus that idea into a beacon, that we all create this world. You know, it's all three of us, and my ideas are like out there. You know, like it's a giant nonsensical thing sometimes, and I think if we sharpen it with all three of us, I think we can create a really powerful world um, that will make sense. You know, because if it was just me by myself, it wouldn't make sense. You know, it wouldn't have any music, and it wouldn't have Frasier. It wouldn't have the characters. Um, I think I make pretty good characters, but I don't know what to do with them. I don't. Like my favorite characters are like Danny and Edith. They just sit around and they just fuck around because that's what I do. You know, they don't really have any goals and stuff or talking on. She's just a healer for hire that just works and gets paid to be a healer, and she doesn't even know how to do a cure spell or anything because like she's like a level 99 healer, but like she does like everything for herself. You know, blink, protect. Like she's all for herself. Like she'll get the mission done, but she won't necessarily heal anybody. You know, when people say like, "Oh, heal me," like she gets pissed off. All right, getting off track. Getting off track. See, I'm unfocused. I'm a madman. So, in the beginning, there were three gods that created the world of the game of starting reality. Now, why three gods? Because there's three of us: me, Josh, Ricardo. We're the three gods. My god is the dream, or the sun. It's a sun god because his head looks like a star. So it kind of fits in with other mythological gods. There's been sun gods in the past. But the reason why I want him to be more so affiliated with the dream is because a dream that somebody has is like a spark. That's like a star. So they follow that dream just as other people would follow the sun. You know, the sun gives life. I think the dream gives purpose, it gives life. It's something to work towards, the dream. Some people lose sight of the dream. But if you believe in that dream, you would believe in Star God. You would believe in that chasing of the dream, that end goal of achieving that dream. I got some coffee here. It's cold. The other moon is, the other god is the moon god, created by Josh. No particular backstory on that yet, because that is out of my forte. Because Josh is the moon god, or goddess. I don't know anything about it. All I know is that that god helped create starting reality. And then there's the void, which is Ricardo's god. And I know he wants that to be two. So it's one god, but it's two people. Unless he wants to make them two entirely separate people. But it's still three gods. Because the three gods are us. And if Ricardo says that his, what he brings to the table is two gods, it's still three gods that created that. So they'll be seen as three gods. And I think that will fuck people up. But there's a reason behind the idea. It's not nonsensical. There's three of us, So that God idea is based in reality. But also, the gods creating starting reality is also based in reality because we, the three of us, create the game. Right? We create different parts of the game. Star God creates the dream. I think Josh's character creates the moons. All the characters live on the moons. And then there's the void, which we don't know the powers of the void just yet. But we'll see. So where do people come from? I think people come from the different gifts that the gods gave to starting reality. I think they are all children of the gods in one way or another. Maybe the void, the endless void, could create the consciousness. It's endless consciousness. Consciousness through every living thing, whether it be a tree or a dog or a woman, doesn't matter. Anything that can have a thought, an insect, all share a consciousness, and that consciousness is the void. The void is the consciousness. So all living things in starting reality are connected through a consciousness. So if we can get this up here without janking anything up. Oh God, please don't disconnect or something. Okay, that's good, that's good. Still rolling? Good. Okay. 30 frames per second, guys. Okay. So there's 3 gods in the beginning. Can we get this up, Matthew? You're gonna have to take these glasses off. There's 3 gods in the beginning. There's the moon goddess. Okay, there's let me see, star god. Okay, and then there's the void. Maybe the void could be like a vortex. Right? That's them in the beginning. And right in the middle where they all meet, right here, that right in the middle, that is where they created everything. So we got the dream. And we have the void. And then we have moons. Okay. So the void connects all the people. Now, where do people come from? Where do people come from? Okay, they were created by the gods. Okay, so the void creates a consciousness. So this is a consciousness, a conscious thing, but it is a shared consciousness with everybody, every living thing. So this one, I won't make a person, I'll make it a tree. And then this one connects to an ant. So this is what the void does. Void is this vast pool of consciousness. Okay. The moon goddess creates the moon. So what is a moon? It's a physical thing, right? So possibly the moon goddess, here's an idea, I think I got a good one, creates moons. Tiny moons. The moons make up the physical form of a person, physical form of every living thing, the physical form of terrain, the physical form, the physical world. So everything is filled out. It's physical. It's a person. It's how they look. It's their brain function, their lungs, their life. All physical. Tree, everything, every living thing. Water, the moon goddess created. And then we have star god. He creates the dream. He creates the dream. He creates reality. Consciousness is the inside. The physical is where you are. It's the wants, needs, and desires. So the needs would be the moon goddess. The needs, the wants would be the dreams. I want this, I want that. And the needs is the void. I need this, I need that. All three of them together. So that's how everything was created. Now, through creating the dream, Star God created helpers to maintain the dream. So when these beings that were created, when the universe and these beings were created by the three gods, they would dream, and that was Star God's reality. That was his place. You know, the void has a place, the moons has a place. You know. And they're all three of these places, the void, the moon, and the dreams, they all exist in every living being. The dream exists for every living being. The physical world, the moon, that exists. And the void exists. That consciousness, the thinking, the constant awareness, it all exists. So to travel to these domains, to travel to the void, to travel to the moon, or to travel to the dream, you can do that by yourself. You exist in the physical. You exist. If you exist on the physical, you exist in the moon. The moon goddess's domain is this physical world. It is what some would call reality. So, physical. Okay? The void exists within a person. It's their consciousness. It's their third person. They're constantly aware. And the dream exists. The dream reality. You daydream. You know, the images. You dream at night. You have images all the time, flashed in your mind. When I say apple, you can see the apple. That is the dream. It's vision. It's seeing. It's the perception of everything. That's the dream. So the idea is when the gods created all the people and society goes on and things are happening and life goes on. Starting reality, the game is going to take place in a reality. It's not even a past, present, or whatever. In a reality that people live on the moons of Jupiter. But Jupiter, we're not going to call it Jupiter. It's going to be Jupiter. It's going to have the red thing and everything. It's going to be in the same spot in the solar system, and it's going to still have the 64 moons. But Jupiter is going to be called an idea. It could change. Altamo. And I got that name from Iron Giant. When he's like, "You're Altamo," and he's like, "No, I'm Superman." So Altamo always, it's like ultimate, you know, like Otamo, you know, and always like names like that, like the show Gigantor, the giant robot, You know, I always thought like Otamo would be like a giant creature or something, but calling it a planet Altamo and the planet has like that red storm, that red eye, I thought that would be just like a really cool idea. All subject to change. I don't care. Um, but I think it's a good idea. And I like we could not use it for this one, you could use it for the next one. But I think it is a good setting for everything. And see, like America has like a portion of the moons, and other people have like a portions of the moons, and it's like Earth right now, but all on these different moons. You know, different moons have different shit. So Freyja is on a moon that is like Sweden, or it's Nordic. You know, Ratminger's on whatever. You know, um, I don't know if he's on American moon, or I don't know where Ricardo's setting him. A made up moon completely. Like I don't care. The Red King, like that shit's made up. You know, that's it, it's a fantastical thing, but like I really want to like make America a thing, and because we're American and we know American culture the most. You know, like they can go to like a Japan moon or a China moon, but like I'd like things to be based in America more because like we know the culture and we know how things are, and it takes a lot of like world building, like a shortcut, you know. Like we're not like Yu Yu Hakusho set in Japan, like, and it just feels good, you know. Things that are based in like real things, and I don't want to pretend like I'm from somewhere else. Like I want to make it in America, you know, because I know all about that. We could change it if we want to make a name for America. We can, but I'm comfortable calling it America. So there are three characters. There's Nua, Freyja, and Ravager, and they live on these moons, and people live on Mars and all this stuff. They're everywhere. Humans are everywhere at this point. And when they left Earth, yes, there was Earth, and Earth will be the base for humans. Like that's where we came from. When humans left Earth and started colonizing moons and planets and stuff and terraforming them so it's safe to live, the radiation from the moons um, like messed with their DNA. So when it messes with their DNA, that's when people started being able to do magic and stuff. So if you lived on Mars, like that radiation gives you a specific type of magic. So what's so special about Jupiter is that there's so many moons, and this storm is just constantly putting off. I want to call it cosmic radiation or cosmic irradiation, and it's just like every moon like has just like such like different populations of magic and stuff. Like it's like a hodgepodge for magic, and that's why like everybody that could possibly every race that could possibly have been on Earth is around Jupiter because it's like a super planet, you know? Like it's got everything. And all the different moons give off different radiations. So it's like there's a lot going on. There's a lot of different types of cosmic irradiation or magic or different things. And you know, it's a way to give magical powers to like, oh, on the moon, that it's like mostly like African people or like, you know, whatever, they get a special type of magic or radiation, and like they have like specific spells to them. You can go there and you can learn them, you know, or like shit like that. Like but America specifically has like the spirits that you can ride and the classes. So you go around to the like American like moons or different states and stuff, and you get that's where you get like classes and jobs and stuff because it's special to us, you know. That's why. And I don't even necessarily know how many different cultures I would put, you know, to be comfortable. Like maybe a Puerto Rico moon, like that'd be pretty cool. Um, so there's three different people that are connected somehow to the gods. The gods favor these people and speak to them through their mediums, you know. So Freyja lives on this like Viking type moon, lots of mountains and stuff. And the moon goddess, um, or just Freyja somehow connects with the moon goddess. And like she's so close to nature and stuff and just has such an understanding of like the physical world that the moon goddess is like she sees the moon goddess somehow. Like she has the sight, she's so connected that she has the sight. Ravager could connect with the void through his consciousness somehow. Somehow his consciousness, he's mastered his consciousness and he finds the void or something like that. And Nuwa, she somehow interacts with Star God in the dream. Maybe she's a very lucid dreamer. Like she goes hard, and like she dreams big. And like in real life, her dream is like her, end all be all. Like she lives the dream. Like she lives to gather the dream or whatever. So they have connections with the gods, and the gods are all connected in the middle here. The starting reality, right in the middle where they all created stuff. So they become so connected that they somehow get to starting reality. They get to the beginning, and they meet each other. Nuwa, Ravager, and Freyja, they meet each other. And at first, it's through their dreams. It's a combination of their physical, it has to be the combination of the three. So their physical space, they need to be somewhere that they're very comfortable, calm. Their consciousness has to be in check, and they have to be in the dream. So at first, they're not so good at it, so they have to go to sleep. They have to get to sleep and at the same time be comfortable in their space and feel safe, and at the same time have meditated to like perfection to get to the void. So it's not like normal people can do it. Like they do it all three by accident because they were coerced by the different gods that they kind of saw. You know, like Freyja could be have like found um Ysmir. It's this giant Viking tree that's like the center of the cosmos for them. She could find that with because it's in the physical world. She could find that with the mother, the goddess moon goddess help through the physical world. You know, Ravager could be diving deep into his consciousness and like he achieves um like perfect meditation. He achieves like the control of the void to just like sit somewhere and just like clear your mind. Emptying your mind of every thought is not an easy thing, and Ravager finds the way to do it. You know, and Nuwa can completely control the dream. Like she goes to sleep and she just like wakes up and like has wakes up in the dream world and has complete control. Like she is just like somehow very in control of her dreams. So it's like it's not easy things to do. So it's not like, oh, everybody could do it. And it's like, no, in this whole thing, three people did it. Um, and they that's where the demo takes place. The demo takes place of the first time they ever um, got to starting reality. You know, um, so like they're the three of them are there and blah 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 and all this stuff, and they have like a adventure through starting reality. So there's a little bit of the dream there. There's some moons there, and there's the void levels. And they go through these levels, and that'll be the game. Um, but after that game is like that takes place all in one collective. They get to starting reality. They leave starting reality at the end of the very first game that we make. It's three of them and they're talking to each other, but it's like they do not leave starting reality. They are there for the whole game, whether that's the demo or whatever. So at the end of the game, you see two people driving in a car, and they're driving in a desert that's like with purple skies and like gray and black sand. And upon closer inspection, it's Danny and Edith, and they're driving like in this top-down car, and they're driving fast as shit in this like desert of like dark shit or whatever in the purple sky. And Danny says there's supposed to be an ocean around here. I don't see one. And Edith's just like, keep driving, we'll find it eventually. And they're driving. This isn't said, it's like ambiguous. They're driving in like consciousness, but consciousness is starting to somehow like dry up. Like somebody, like the consciousness is so vast that the gods don't even see like all of it because it's so vast, and they're constantly in their realms, you know. And in the middle is this consciousness. In the middle is like starting reality, and they don't necessarily keep an eye on that too much because according to them, they think only three people can access starting reality. They're Nuwa, Ravager, and Frasier, you know. So like they don't really keep an eye on it. But Danny and Edith somehow are in a part of starting reality that's all dried up, and the consciousness is gone, and the consciousness is fading. Something is attacking the consciousness. And that would be the end of that. So in the second game, aka not the demo, Frasier, Ravager, and Nuwa, you start out by picking one of them, and they're completely on different moons, and they're not together because they were in a dream state in starting reality. So they go about their day and stuff, and then they go back to sleep, and they meet each other again. And this time, you just played a whole like demo or game as them, and they did a bunch of shit. You know, they beat bosses and stuff, and it's like, you again, like this is weird. Are you just like, I've never seen you in real life, and I thought you can only see people in your dreams that you met in real life. And they like just start like talking, and like they say like who they are and stuff. And maybe you should play as everybody instead of picking. I'd like for the first day to be just Frasier, and then the next day maybe you could play as Nuwa, and she like looks up on like a social media thing. It could just be that simple. Frasier and Ravager, and Frasier lives on this Viking planet, so she doesn't have a social media and she can't find her, but she finds Ravager. You know, he has like a social media or whatever, or if he's working like in like a tech thing, like he can have like a business card or whatever, or he can have a mechanic shop maybe, I don't know. But she finds him. And Ricardo, if I do look up in the mechanic shop, there's a picture of you, so it could be that ironic. She finds Ravager mad easy, and she gets in touch with him somehow, and then when she goes back to sleep that night and sees them, they tell Frasier that they met each other and they talk to each other in real life. And Frasier's like, I can go to like this place, and this place that like trades and stuff, and that's like the only phone on the moon, and I can like call you. You can come down, Olivia. So she also gets in contact with them in the real world, like over this, Viking bootleg ass Viking phone. It's got like horrible connection, and so now they all know that out of the dream, they are real. They're real in the dream and outside of the dream. So this is when they want like questions or whatever. And maybe Frasier, well, or at this point, yeah, it'd be Ravager. Like maybe he has like a government job and like could search some files, just give him a job that make gives him a lot of access to like get things easily, maybe. Or that, or if he's a mechanic, like he just works with a lot of people and knows like a lot of people through like being a mechanic in space. Like you fucking see anybody, like fucking working on big ass rigs and shit. Um, but he finds you know, something. I think he should find something about like Tripmaster, or this is when Tripmaster could be like into the come into the mix. So they find out about Tripmaster and stuff, and like he tells them wherever you are, like on your moon, like look for something called Tripmaster. And maybe Freyja can ask about Tripmaster, and like she goes to this cave and finds this like tab etched into the wall, and she doesn't know what it is. So, and in the real world, you can only play as the one character at this point, because only in the dream world you could play with the three of them. So she finds this Tripmaster tabature, and she like writes it down, and then when she's in the dream, like she remembers it and shows Nua and Ravager, and they at first they don't really know what it is, but then when Ravager wakes up the next day, he's like, "That's a tablature for like music," and like he could play the music, and then like when he plays it, he like gets into a trance, and he astral projects, you know, and he's like, "Holy shit!" And he looks back at his body, and he's like, still there. Like somehow he's mastered consciousness and the dream and like the moon shit through Tripmaster's like song through his tablature. So he's floating in front of his body, but at the same time he's standing there looking at himself, and he has complete control over both of them. So he's like brain multitasking. He's not like in a trip state or whatever. Like he's still standing there holding the guitar or whatever he played it on, and like he's mastered astral projection daydreaming. So he records the song, and he sends it to Nua and Freyja, and they all three astro project somehow, and they see their bodies like floating in front of them, and just like they're all three doing it. And then they're like, this is cool, like maybe we can somehow travel to each other somehow. So that night in the dream, they ask you know Star God or whoever, somebody, about this like astral projection power, and Star God could teach them how to daydream. Like you go throughout your day, but you daydream. So, um, but when you do this power, you can connect through the starting reality to actual reality to master, the consciousness, the the physical and the dream, to be with Nua or Freyja or Ravager in the physical world. Like they can be there, by traversing the consciousness and all this stuff and blah blah blah. So what does that mean? Okay, that means Freyja at that point in the game can go and do missions on her planet, on her moon, with Nua and Ravager. They will astral project to where she is and physically be there. But at the same time, they're actually at work or something. And I picture Nua sitting at like her desk and like her science desk, just like astral projecting, fighting in like a dungeon or whatever, like playing the game, and she's just like sitting there. You know, she's in two places at one time because she's a fucking brain superhuman. You know, whatever our characters are, and same thing for Ravager. You know, and same thing for Nua. Like they at this point can go to their other moons, and eventually I would like them to meet up together, but it would be at the end of this game when Freyja finds out she's actually born an American, um, and she's not really a Viking, but she was just raised there. So she's like, I love you guys, and I'm glad I was here, and I'm glad I found out the truth about myself, because for a second I thought I was always going to be stuck here, you know, always stuck on this planet, and I feared that I would hate my home planet. But now that I find out that I'm an American, this place, I'll never hate it. I always look at it fondly. I love that I was raised here. This will always be my home, you know, but I have to go to America, you know. And Ravager's arc could be, you know, that I'm meeting up with Nua and Freyja for his reasons. And Nua could be like, I'm tired of living in a dream. Like, I want to fucking, like, I figured out this thing with these people that I'm somehow connected with. Like, I'm going to go with them and I'm going to figure this out, you know, the truth of whatever. And that could be the second game. And I think I should end the timeline right there. But that's the idea. Um, so I know it's like kind of weird, but you guys let me know what you think. I'm pretty excited for you to hear this. Goodbye, my friends.